In this video, I'm going to be working on the Canon TM200. The issue the store been having with this printer is that it's jamming with error code EC05-2F92. Now, it's kind of peculiar because it doesn't jam with all kind of media. It only jams with the roll paper. When I load up the poster board media to test it out to print, it prints just fine with no error codes and no issues. Now, when I go inside the service manual and check the error code indicators, it gives me a list of troubleshooting steps I can take to potentially resolve the issue. I went through all these troubleshooting steps first. Now it brings me to the last resort, is replacing the carriage unit, and that's what I'm doing in this video. Please allow me to apologize for the terrible camera views in this video. I'm using a Go 360, so I have to mount the camera to my hat brim to perform hands-free activities, which puts the camera about 2 inches above my eye level. So you're not able to zero in on what I'm looking at because it's about 2 inches above eye level. So when I'm taking apart the printer, you're not able to see all the parts that I'm taking apart. And also, another issue I'm having with this printer is that the battery dies too quick. That's why during the video, when I'm taking apart the printer and working on the printer, when the camera cuts and comes back to another scene, I'm at a whole nother part of the repair process. So it's a little difficult to follow along. That's why I'm explaining everything I'm doing as I'm going through it. All right, for the replacement process, starting off, we need to remove the top right cover. Then next, we remove the operational panel unit, aka the display unit. Then we're going to remove the right side cover. There's 5 screws you need to remove for that one. Next, we're going to remove the lift motor. And this is the process I'm doing right now. After removing the lift motor, you need to unlock the carriage unit and slide it to the center of the printer. Open up the top cover and remove the print head. And this is when my battery dies. Next, you're going to remove the red cover to expose the main PCB unit, which is basically the motherboard. I forgot how many screws you gotta remove, but it's quite a bit. After removing the red cover, press down on the clamps to remove the right side lower paper guide. Next, you're going to remove the left side top cover unit. Remove 1 screw and pop out 1 tab. Next, you're going to remove the left side cover unit. Remove 1 circular cover, remove 5 screws, and push down on 2 tabs, and remove the unit. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit with it. You have to shake it a little bit, jimmy it, and finally eventually it'll come off. Then after that, we're going to remove the top red cover. You got to remove 3 screws for that one. Then after that, remove the top cover. You got to remove 6 screws for that one. Now it's time to remove the carriage unit. While removing the carriage unit, you must be careful not to damage the ribbon cable. This is a very tedious process and it takes a lot of care and precision. I almost failed on this repair, but I was determined to get this printer fully functional as I was called on site to do. When installing the new carriage unit, you must be extra careful not to damage the ribbon cable nor the belt. Now, this is my first time replacing the carriage unit on this model printer. I went through so much trial and error during the process. I did a few things incorrectly while reinstalling the carriage unit. So I put it on the track incorrectly, and it wasn't lining up with the lift motor gears. So it wasn't activating the lift motor. And also it wasn't lining up with the media lever. So when I closed the media lever, it wasn't pressing down, the media roller wasn't pressing down on the media. And I was catching some errors later on in the video. And a few other things I was doing wrong. For instance, I had fully installed the carriage unit, put the belt back on the track before I realized I installed the ribbon cable backwards. I had to take it out and do it all over again. This is the point where I realized the ribbon cable was installed backwards. It's very difficult trying to align the ribbon cable and the belt at the same time. Make sure you're putting the ribbon cable connectors on the main board connections correctly. You didn't get to see me remove these parts earlier because my battery died, but this is the spring plate and compression spring. This might be the most difficult part of the procedure right here, getting the belt back on the track. I messed up on installing the belt. Now I have to remove the carriage from the printer. And in order to remove the carriage from the printer, I have to remove that spring plate again. Well, my battery died again, but as you can see, I got the belt on. I got the rear cover on. I'm putting the top cover on. And oh yeah, there's some more parts that you didn't get to see me remove. The flex cable base holder and the flex cable holder. I'm sorry, the flex cable base and the flex cable holder. You got to remove the flex cable base to get to the flex cable holder. This is where I failed to line up the carriage motor gear with the lift motor gear. I also failed to line up the media lever gear with the media roller gear. That's why I was getting those errors in the video. No, no errors. Oh, actually, yeah, there is an error. This is EC06-2F9B. That error indicator is not even listed in the manual that I have. But I was talking to a support rep on the other line, and she was telling me that that error code has to deal with the lift motor, and that's when they had me install the shim, a little piece of square cardboard that you see that you're going to see in another scene later on in the video. This is when I noticed the carriage unit wasn't lined up properly on the track. and I had to remove it from the track and reposition it. Now it's not detecting the paper. This is the issue where the media lever gear is not lined up with the media clinch roller gear. They're called clinch rollers because they're supposed to press down on the media to detect that there's media loaded in the printer. Why can't you detect the paper? Yeah, I keep getting the error message saying they can't detect the paper. Yeah, I'm doing roll paper. The tech support rep I'm on the line with is asking me to check to see if there's any physical damage on the roll holder. Yeah, I'm looking at them now. I don't see that they're damaged. I don't see any physical damage on them. Long story short, I corrected the issue, tested the printer out, and got it fully functional.